Hey, 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 it's Lisa, Fossil Hunting Female here on the 5th of February. I'm wanting to add a day, so for some reason. It goes by fast enough. Anyway, 2026, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to show you this last find of mine. So I've dumped them all out on the table. Yeah, and I just wanted to know, do you see any that you think could possibly be a tool? I think that one is really, really cool. There are those colorings in it. Or if you think it looks like it could have been a mud fossil. If you even know what a mud fossil is. If you haven't heard of a mud fossil, you should check out Mud Fossil University, where I think his name's Robert Spur or something like that. Roger Spur, I think. Roger, not Robert. Anyway, he has actually had some that were DNA'd and to prove they were biological, which is cool because that's what I thought. These are just the little ones I had stuck there, but I believe these are as well. I think they're not just plain old rocks. They're rocks now, but they used to be a biological, a lot of them. Some sort of animal or reptile or something. And you can, you know, the mainstream wants to make us believe they're just rocks. They just formed through over the years and they call them geofacts. But I think there's too much detail in the biological comparison to them. Like even this here, like if you look at this, I know it's hard to see like with 2D instead of 3D, and it's so much better to be able to touch it and feel it and look at it. But this right here to me looks like, so this is like the eye, and there will be another eye, and the mouth is here open, and there's like a nose hole, and another one's over here. So it's kind of open, and then maybe even the tongue's hanging out down there, like, you know. In the flood, everything had to have fossilized. It was a perfect situation for fossilization. Then all the mud fills into them, and they fossilize that way. Some have more where they have skin covering it, which I have some of those too. I don't know if I have them here, but you could tell that they fossilize a little differently without having the full decomposition where it's breaking down. You can tell the difference. But if you don't have the background like a nurse like I do, then you may not be able to see it as well, but you can still go like, wow, that's really a rock. I don't think so. I mean, like, because honestly, they don't just look like a rock. I mean, they may feel like a rock and they're hard like a rock, but they don't look like a rock, at least not to me. But it's really cool. I think it's an amazing thing to look at and go out and be in nature and see what you have around, you know, your area. It's just really cool. And of course, they don't want us to know, probably because it would lead back to believing the flood was real and that God is real and Jesus is real and all that good stuff. But anyway, if you look at them closer like I have, you can tell that they're not just a rock. They're a rock now, but they're not just a rock. Even like this one's, I think a lot of this stuff is like the bird, and then these is like feathers fossilization. Most of them will have at least one eye. The other eye would have been laying in the mud and it wouldn't be there from the fossilization. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But some of them I do believe were used for tools. Because they saw, wow, this looks like it could be handy dandy to use as something, you know. This one also, it looks like it was an animal. That would be the eye there. Some sort of bird possibly, and that's the bird feather. Or do you believe the mainstream view that this is just made over time through the processes of the earth, and it's just a coincidence that they look like certain things biologically? Just curious what you think. Here's another one that doesn't look like just a rock. That could be like the eye there. You can't always tell like what, it don't always look like a specific animal or specific reptile or whatever, but you can tell that it just doesn't look like a rock. Here's another one there's way too many of these that, see, like that would be the beak, that would be the eye, and that's just the head of something like a bird. Let's see, look how amazing these are. There's some beautiful colors too, man. There's some real pretty blues here in New Mexico. This one is kind of interesting. I find a lot like that too, though, that have something on it. Usually you can see like 2 nose holes too, and then that could have been 2 eyes there. Of course, smashed up a little bit. And that could be the guts coming out, fossilized that way, the guts right there. This is kind of a dark, deep blue rock. Very, very smooth and shiny. Very interesting. That could be the eye there. That could be just a conglomerate, but I think it's more than that. But sometimes it's really hard to tell what it, could have been. Could have been. This one's almost opalescent in the sun. Stands out in a bunch of rocks. There's this one is very sharp right here. Gotta be careful. So they could have used this as a tool, but I still think it, well, it may be. Look how it looks like it's cut and stuff. And we've got this big one right here, which has some great blue color. Look at that blue in there. Very interesting. Curious making, I say. Curious making. Aren't those colors beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Let's see here. These are some that, like that one might have been used as a tool. Let's see. This one is interesting as well. The inside here. See how pretty that is? Where'd the sun go? There we are. You see it better actually out of the sun. This kind of looks like a fish. This could have been used as a tool. This one isn't. This one's pretty too. It's got a really pretty, like, blue in that too. Opalescent type look. That just doesn't look like a rock to me. Neither does that one. It's funny, I never noticed them before though. Just the last few years have I noticed this not looking like just a plain old rock. It looks like it used to be something else, and then it got hard and fossilized, which we know fossilization happens. Even petrified wood, I found a lot of petrified wood as well. We know that happens. But for some reason, since they tell us that these are just geofacts, a lot of us believe it, at least for a little while, until we start investigating it ourselves. That could have been used as a tool. This could have been used as a tool. This are just one of those, like, what? What is that? Wow, it's already been 12 minutes. This could have been used as a tool. It's pretty sharp along the edges. Brush scraper. This could be a mud fossil, and that's one of the eyes that survived. This is just really interesting how it's red and then white. I don't know. Maybe they scraped that off, filed it off. I don't know. If you know, leave it in the comments what you think it is. We got all these here that look like they possibly are tool. That one definitely looked like one. This one. Oh, we hear some dogs barking. This one looks like one that could even be that patina stuff. But then again, it has it all over. That one's really wild looking. And this one. Fascinating. Aren't they fascinating? I think it's super cool that that they, you know, are mud fossils, a lot of them. I think it's just amazing. But more people need to find that out. This one is real pretty when it's wet. Look how pretty that is. Another possible tool, but it also has an eye there. Looks like it could have been a smash something or other. There's the eye there. Two eyes. Here's one that looks like they probably use it as a tool. Anyway, here's another one that looks like a little birdie. I just wanted to show you these newest finds. Can't wait to go out again soon and get some more. Here's another two-eyed one. I mean, I'd understand like one or two, but there's so many that have the same type of similarities as far as looking like. And I know some people think, or, you know, the mainstream says it's just they carved these different animals and things, and I don't believe that either. But we all have the right to believe what we want to believe. I just think we should do a little more further investigation and see that a lot of the things they tell us are half-truths. They're not the truth, as we're starting to realize with a lot of things that are going on in our crazy world. Crazy, crazy world. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. It's already been 15 minutes, almost 16, so I'm going to let you go. Until next time, God bless and goodbye. Thanks for joining me.